Hi, I'm Yannick Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Wolfner.
It's Andrey Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the GTL podcast. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully. Day one in the books in Australia, and what a day one it was. Capped off by last year's winners, Novak Djokovic going through, but not an easy ride through the first round for Djokovic. Really tested by Dino Prizmic, and it was an incredible matchup. And Djokovic been well and truly tested, let's say, in his first round match. Wouldn't you say, JG?
Yeah, I think that is the big story of day one. Novak Djokovic dropping a set to the 18-year-old. He was really good, and Djokovic had a lot of kind of things to say about him after the match. We'll probably start with that because we can see here Djokovic led the Rod Laver Arena crowd to applaud Dino Prizmic after their opening day battle in Melbourne. The kid's serious, and I think he's going to be someone in the next few years who could be pushing for that top 10 spot. He has a really good defensive game, and that kind of makes sense because he did say growing up he has always looked to Novak Djokovic as his main player, his role model, the one who he's sort of strove to become. Yeah. And it makes sense because he did look a little bit like a young Djokovic out there today with his defence. And Djokovic said how he was really impressed with his backhand and the way he was able to defend off it. A lot of the times Djokovic will always go to that with a young player and get a lot of free points. He wasn't able to get that today.
I totally agree. I think that he had all of the tools. He shocked me. And I bet he shot Djokovic as well because you couldn't put it anywhere on the court. That's what Djokovic said after the match. It was he used the full court so well, and his defensive play, it reminded him of himself. It was like a mirror of like a younger Djokovic. He also said, obviously, he's double his age, 18. Djokovic, obviously, 36. That's what made it even more incredible for me. That's his first ever match in a main draw in a slam. And I think that is the thing that Djokovic was really emphasising, how difficult it is to play a main draw at a Grand Slam, especially against him. He didn't say against me even more difficult, but we know it is more difficult. And the fact he was able to do it, I thought was incredible. The level, when he was able to break Djokovic multiple times in the match, and break Djokovic after also being broken back himself. Normally you see it the other way round. He was doing that to Djokovic. Not many players do that, especially in Australia. Amazing.
Yeah, and Novak was warned about him by, of course, Goran, who is Croatian. He does know a little bit about Prizmic. Djokovic didn't know anything before today, but I'm sure he will do now. And I would like to see him kind of mentor him with Djokovic closing out of his career. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of affiliation between these two.
We said, hopefully allow me to be in his corner at some point, which is big words, really, from Djokovic to say that. He must
consider he didn't know really much about him until now. But
yeah. It's amazing.
I can see that happening. I really do see that happening. But yeah, brilliant match and a really good first day at the Australian Open. There was the story, aside from this one, was the fact that all of the matches were very long. We saw quite a few five-setters.
Yep.
This match was 4 hours, in which that is the first time that's happened to Djokovic at the Australian Open in the first round.
It was crazy.
So he's got some history there, Dino.
Such a long match for a first round one. I was even surprised when we were hitting the end of the third set. It was already 3 hours, and I thought, well, maybe Djokovic will just run away with the fourth. But it wasn't. He sort of was 4-love up. And then, did you see in the in the on-court interview afterwards, he said to Andre Agassi, he said, I saw you up there. And he mentioned to Agassi, that was like a forehand, like your forehand. And then after that, I lost 3 games in a row. So I think I lost my focus for a second after seeing you. And then managed to regain it. 7 match points, was it, in the end? It took him to get him out of there. Wow, what an amazing first story. There's many more to come, I'm sure, in this Australian Open.
In terms of long matches, I've counted 6 5-setters on day one, Of course, it's not just the first round. We still have more first-round matches playing today. But yeah, 6 is what I've counted. So we've got Kotov Rinderknecht as 1. Sweeney Cerundolo, that one went to 5. Rublev Sabov Wild went to 5, which I did say Sabov Wild would do well. Chris O'Connell Garin, that went 5, and I was quite big on Garin there. Fritz Diaz Acosta, bit of a surprise that one went to 5, and that's the last one.
No, one more. Jason Kubler. That was the one. He went out on the super tie break, 10-8. That was the 2 of them went to super tie break. Yep. Super tie break for Rublev, super tie break for Kubler, and Galan actually got him out of there. So the Australians, they had, what was that? Is that 3 people going to 5 sets, but only Chris O'Connell going through in a 5th set there today. And, well, I was so happy for Chris O'Connell as well. Obviously, we've had him on the podcast. We met him in Zagreb as well. Really nice guy, and was so happy to see him set that crowd alight. He was the one who was the sort of flag bearer for Australia out there today, and well played to him. And hopefully Alex de Minaur can follow suit in the first round.
Yeah, a big takeaway for me as well was Sinner's performance against a tough opponent in Butik van der Zandschulp. We know what he's able to do on the hard courts. We know how good he is on grass at Wimbledon when we saw him. Played a good match against Djokovic not too long ago, but just got taken apart by Sinner. Yep. And I think we're now going to start seeing this year a Sinner who can compete for Grand Slams. We spoke about it on the countdown, on the last few countdowns, really. We always seem to bring up Yannick Sinner and how now we feel he can contend for Grand Slams. We've seen now this 2024 version of him, and it's followed on from 2023. So I'm looking at him as now a contender for all 4 Grand Slams every year. If he's fit, he has got a shot of winning all of them. And I don't think I've ever been able to say that before about Yannick Sinner.
Yeah, he's looking like a model professional now, like one of the real mainstayers at the top. Now he's in that top 4 place in the rankings. It's going to help him, and it's going to help him in draws. It's going to help him get deeper in draws, and it's going to help him to solidify that top 4 thing. And he's playing De Jong next. I expect him to win that. He'll either have Galan or Baez after that. Expect him to win that as well. And then after that, he could be on a collision course with maybe Hachanov or TFO, which you'd fancy him against both of them as well. So a really great section for Yannick Sinner, and he started against a tough opponent and made it look easy, really.
Yeah, some highlights I recommend watching is definitely Sabov Wild Rublev. Yeah. Really top match, that one. And Sabov come into it. He was 2 sets down, forced it to 5. I thought he would have won the 5th, but he didn't. And just come a little bit short against a top player, top 5 player in Rublev. So fantastic achievement for him. He's showing his level now, and he is someone who I think is going to have a really good season, a little bit like Jarry had last year. So I think Sabov against on all of the surfaces, predominantly really good on the clay courts, but can now play on everything. Yeah. I think we'll see him push his ranking up even higher, and I would like to see him in around the 30s come the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing
anyone else, I
think
he would have won the first. Yeah. I mean, he was unlucky. If it was just any of the top 4 or 5th or top 10 players, he would have been a bit tough. But anyone else, he would have had a few good rounds here.
I think Prizmic as well. We could say the same for both those players. So, both of them played exceptionally. I thought Sabov Wild reminded me a little bit like UTS style play. One winner round the post. He had a lot of volley rallies at the net that he ended up winning. There was a lot of dramatic points that Sabov Wild actually won in this.
That's why I recommend watching the highlights. Of course, it was a difficult time for a lot of people to watch live. So watch the highlights. It is a really good, entertaining match. Moving down, these ones I don't really have much to say about, apart from Chris O'Connell did very well against Gary, and that was a really good atmosphere on court because there was a lot of Chileans and, of course, Australians cheering both players on. Pretty full up as well. I think the attendance has seemed quite good at the Australian Open start on day one.
Yeah, it looks jam-packed.
I don't know what the official numbers are, but it seemed like a good atmosphere.
Really did. And if they're going to keep getting matches like this, then it's going to get even more full. People are just going to be seeing it and thinking, wow, it's really coming to life. Taylor Fritz, nearly an early casualty against Diaz Acosta, who's pretty much a clay court player through and through, but Fritz rolled his ankle early in the match, and it sort of made more of a match of it somehow. And he had to come back from the depths. It wasn't a simple fifth set. It was like a break, the broken back, then break again, and well done. He got through it and showed a bit of fight and a bit of courage, and hopefully rests up and we see a better version of him in the second round.
Yeah, I think Djokovic will be pleased looking at this level of Fritz. I mean, he can beat him when he's playing well, so
That's true.
this is just not a worry at all, and I don't see him challenging. I'm not sure who he's got next round, but every round's going to be a really big ask for him, I think, at this stage.
Well, Taylor Fritz
Doesn't
would
look
be
like he's got the level this event.
Kobayas, Boehner, or Gaston.
Yeah, I think he should be all right, but yet again, I don't know. Not playing great, Taylor Fritz. Galan did extremely well in 5 against Kubler. That one just so
Impressive.
tight. I know we was commentating on the last bit of this match because it was happening the same time as Djokovic, and I think it was an error from Kubler on match point, 9-8 in the super tie break. So tight. Nothing separated them. Two players not really in great form, but went a bit of a distance. What was it, like 5 hours or something?
Yeah, over 5 hours just, I think, at the end. I mean, credit to both of them. They had a long embrace at the net right at the end of the match, which after one of those, it's like you've been in a big fight, isn't it? And you both just have respect for each other. And the crowd really loved it. One that we just skipped past, we should mention, obviously, Marin Cilic. We were saying, what level would he be at? Turns out Marazan just too good, really. I feel that this is maybe the end of Cilic. I feel like it's really the back end of the career now. And Marazan really at the start. He's looking fantastic, and he could be on a collision course with Taylor Fritz. He plays Cerundolo next. I fancy his chances.
Yep, me too. Seems like one Croatian's coming out towards the end of their career, one coming in today.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, interesting how things work. It's just like where one door closes, another one opens.
Right. I don't really have anything else to say about the men, so let's move on to the women's. Of course, good result for TFO. He got through Chorich. Yep. And the women's, where do we start? Maybe the one we covered in Leylah Fernandez against Baychek. Baylek. Sorry.
That's all right.
This
one
was a really high quality match, I thought.
Yeah.
Baylek had a good chance, just couldn't really press on the gas when she needed to. And I think a little bit like these are new names for me. A little bit like Dino.
Dino.
I feel that she is going to be someone who is going to be on the tour for a while. She's another top player from the Czech Republic who I think has shown now that maybe this year's too soon, but give it next year, she'll be pushing for second weeks in slams. Most definitely. It's like Azarenka, Kvitova, some of these players coming to the end. Andreescu's struggling for form. Kerber's not there. Saka. Like, these players are coming out, and then we're seeing these players coming in to replace them. That's how I feel it is. Yeah, definitely. A new batch, and it's Russians she'll be and part Czechs. Of it. I feel like she'll be, it's Russians and Czechs on the women's. Massive. But, one Czech not doing so well, but going through. Barbora Krejcikova, she lost the first set, was down a break in the second set, but somehow turned it around. I don't know how she did it, but she dug in and got through. Hontama's not very good, that's why. Krejcikova was terrible. Didn't hit with any power from when I was watching a little bit of it. She won't go very much further. No, be lucky to win a match. Another one. Yeah, I'm not holding up much hope for her. Avanesian through. This one really disappointed with Jodie Burrage. Yeah. I mean, how has she got bageled in the final set? That seemed to happen. I've seen her play the other time as well. I don't know if it was last year sometime, where she capitulates as the longer the match goes on. I don't think she's got the ability and the stamina to go a duration of a match. So she's got a good level, but just not very good over a match. Great. She should just do fast 4 format, I think. Jodie Burrage should be a lot better. One serve. You get to pick which side they serve on juice or that type of thing. Yeah, that type of thing. Nice, I like Alicia Park, she's leading the ace count now on the women's. Yeah, brilliant. Early leader. I did call this one on the bracket. I know you went Sneager. Yeah.
It was one of those. I thought it was going to be a close match, but the serve proved to be the factor, and she does have that on her side on these fast Aussie courts. Cornet out. I think I had that the other way, though. Timofeyeva, I had. She goes through the qualifier, or Timo Fever, as I like to call her.
Good result there for Kvitova, but I thought she was going to win, so I'm not too shocked. Sakari should be winning that one. No comments. This is a shock. Samsonova losing to Anisimova. And I didn't see any of this at all, but I've read some comments on Twitter. Yeah. And people were saying Anisimova's back. Like, she's actually playing like a really good level. So if she does play at that level, I don't know how true this is, by the way. This is speculation. Then she probably can go through quite a few rounds. I don't know. If she continues playing at a good level, this is not that much of a shock. But it is with the bookies because she was freeze.
Well, it's not a bad section she's got. So she knocked out the 13th seed in Samsonova. She'll play either Podoroska or Zadancic next. And then it could be the Badoza, Townsend, Pavlyuchenkova or Vekic. Another winnable one there. Well, and then
Vekic is there.
Sabo's in that section. Yeah. As well. So
it'll fall short there.
Yeah, probably.
Korneva, we've got to speak about her. I think this is her first slam. Is this the one?
Yeah.
Her first slam, I'm going to say 18 as well. 19?
I believe
18,
16.
19. Oh, 16. Wow,
yeah.
One of the younger batch. I know she was on that list we went through the other day. And she was one of the teenagers who was making their debut at a Grand Slam. Another one from Russia, I believe.
Yep.
In the same category as all the others.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, Balek, this Korneva. What's the other one? Mira Andreeva.
They're
just all very, very good players, and they're just replacing the old crop of players. Great result, really is. Soribas Tormo, I do like as well. She's tough. She's a tough, resilient player.
Yep.
So, fantastic result. 6-2 in the third as well. Just, I'd love to see how far she can go. I mean, we're going to see maybe some new stars. Maybe one of this batch I'm mentioning now. Mira Andreeva looks most likely. I think we've both got her going quite far, but
yeah,
I think we're gonna have one of them go second week. I'm just not sure which one it's gonna be.
Well, there's a whole, like you say, out with the old, in with the new. Samsonova out and Kornieva in on this one as well.
Samsonova's not done though.
No, I know. I'm not such a. But we got Timofeyeva in that section as well. This little section that we've got at the moment, we got Timofeyeva. Is there? She's playing Wozniacki next, who got through Lynette, who retired.
I think you don't look into that match, by the way. As much as everyone's going to get really hyped up about Wozniacki, I think Lynette is a bit of a walking by.
Yeah, she was retired.
Yeah.
But we could, if we got a 20-year-old Timofeyeva and we've got 16-year-old Kornieva, they could meet in the third round.
Oh, wow.
So, but Haddad Maya Flavitova is going to be the winner. Well, the winner of that plays Kornieva next. So, Haddad Maya's going to fancy her chances in this section, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then with Seedorf, terrible draw. Another young one. This one's come a little bit too soon, but he never looked in it.
That was just really sad to watch.
They look like a world number one. I know Saba's not, but like a world number one playing junior.
Reigning champion. That's what it looked like. It looked like the reigning champion playing somebody who'd never played at a slam before. And it was sad to watch because it got to 6-love, 3-love, and she was trying to serve, and you could see like she was just like crying. Like it was just like fighting back tears. And she knew the crowd felt sorry for her. She felt sorry for herself. And then when she finally won a game, it was like, like a little bit. And then by the end, she actually was smiling, which was fine. But, yeah, you had no chance against Saba, sadly.
Yeah, exactly. And that sort of sums up day one action.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased. All in all, positive. I'll always be the first to say when it's not. So it's important to be positive when it was. And I thought we had some really good matches, some good performances from young players. And the big players still went through. And I think it's important that we still have these big players going through in the later stages, especially this year, because there's a lot of narratives I want to see play out. One of them being Sinner Djokovic in the semi. Let's have a look to tomorrow and some fantastic matches. In terms of what we're going to be covering, I think if you go to the women's first, that's what we'll be covering. we'll probably be covering at midnight Svitolina Preston, another young player in Preston. I believe she's 18. She'll have the support of the crowd. And Svitolina, I saw, in terms of active tennis players on the women's, she's up there, I think, within the top 5 maybe of the most titles. So she's one of the big players really on the women's tour at the moment in terms of what they've been able to produce historically. And she's actually in a good bit of form as well. So you put them two together, should be a good one. And then hopefully we'll have some cover, we'll cover. I don't know if we're going to do Coco Gauff, are we?
I don't know. We've got obviously Osaka's last on.
Yeah, the one we'll cover definitely in the morning will be Garcia Osaka for sure.
And then,
so you can see us and them too, and then potentially we may get cover for one of the men's matches.
Maybe Mari Echeverry.
Could be, yeah, but that could really be a long one.
I know. Well, we'll have to see who wants to cover what. Obviously,
Berrettini, that's the big news. He's pulled out.
Sad news. Big Berrettini out. Tsitsipas now faces Zizou Berg, so you can see that there. He's going to be happy, Tsitsipas. I mean, no, he wouldn't have wanted to have played Berrettini with that massive serve. Now he's getting to play a lucky loser instead.
Exactly that. Right, let's wrap it up there. That sums up day 1 action. If you liked the video, please hit that button and subscribe if you're new. Really do appreciate the support. And we'll be back for the matches later on today and another roundup tomorrow.
Exactly right. And day 1 of the Australian Open in 2024 will be known as the arrival of Dino Prizmic.
You going to play the button?
Yeah, why not? Let's have his button. It's a little bit of a coffee shop vibe, but I like it.
Hey, we end with a whisper. See you guys tomorrow.